you know.
And speaking of those other positions, now you had a late rearrangement of the infield. I know that. As I watched them play defensively, positioning-wise, not to get too technical, it didn't seem like they were all, quite comfortable with moving around, according to counting that. But do you think they're going to fall into line now, or do you think there's going to be more changes on the way for that infield?
Well, I think the infield is one of those things that's tough, because you have a balance of trying to get your offense and your defense, I mean, J.R. Faulkner is I think at 333 too, somewhere in that range, and he's second in RBIs on the team. He had 2 the other day, 14 RBIs, and but J.R. struggles at third somewhat, and he's working at it. But I've got better third basemen. Luke Green is a guy who's not had a chance to play a lot, but Luke plays third base better than anybody. And actually Luke came to me after the game on Friday and said, where do I stand? And I said, you play third as well as anybody I've got, but right now those guys are just hitting the ball, and I know it's not an answer for you, but it just is what it is, So you might see where late in the games, I may go to a more defensive lineup. Ben Mail at first. Ben's not your prototypical first baseman. He's about 6 foot. It'd be nice to have a 6'4" target over there. We just don't have a 6'4" target over there in Ben. But, again, offensive-wise, we're trying to balance it. Ben does a fine job at first. He probably likes to play third more, but, we could do that. We could bring McDuffie into first, put Ben at third, but then where are you going to hit Faulkner? The guy who's got the second most RBIs on the team. So, it's one of those things where, again, as you know, we made the change and put Jared at shortstop, Massengill, and I feel like he's there for the rest of the year. And we're going to, play with first and third a little bit. And it might be who's hot, Maybe McDuffie gets hot for a while and Faulkner doesn't. Maybe Faulkner's hot and, same thing with Loudon and Dayton, those guys. Is you just find, and that's kind of what I did. I started Loudon in the DH spot the second game because he had the big home run. You can't not play that guy after hitting a home run like that. Even though Peters is hitting the ball well and other guys are hitting the ball well, you just kind of go with who's hot. And that's where we're going to be. And I know those guys, it frustrates them a little bit, but that's just the way it is. And it's a good problem to have.
It seemed like Trevor Buford was the most comfortable with his position.
Yeah, Trevor is a second baseman when it comes to the infield. He tried to play short on the spring trip. He's not comfortable there. So that is what he plays. And Jared's played shortstop most of his life, and Jared does a good job. He's just, he's not one of those guys that can play it like some guys can, but he does a solid job there. And so I think he's very comfortable at short. I think Trevor's comfortable at second.
Do you think your infield is maybe vulnerable then to the small ball game or rundowns? Or
possibly. I mean, J.R. Faulkner is not, the best at coming and making that run in play. And I'm trying to work with him. He just doesn't make that play naturally. And for me, I played third my last 2 years at Illinois State. I loved that play. That was my play, and I wanted him to bunt. And I don't feel like JR wants him to bunt. I was talking, I said, you want them. It's a cat and mouse game. You want those guys to try to bunt on you so you can come up and go and throw them out, and they go back to the dugout thinking, I thought I had that thing beat out, So Luke Green definitely makes that play better at third. So, we'll just see. It's one of those things where sometimes you can't have a balance of both. It'd be nice to have, Luke's infield and JR's hitting, and Luke can hit the ball. He's just right now, JR's hitting the ball better, so it's just one of those things you got to deal with, I think.